All right, we're live on Facebook and it's 3 p.m. June 26th. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for those that have already joined and those that will be joining. I'm very excited about these budget conversations this afternoon because we'll be talking about another topic that is very dear to me, and that is participatory budgeting. Some of you may remember that when I ran a number of platforms, education being one, budgeting is another, and participatory budgeting especially. That's very big to me, and so I'm very glad that today I have with me on this conversation someone that I regard as a champion of participatory budgeting, because he's been talking about it way before I ran for office, and he's been looking into how we can make it happen in Nashville, and we finally got to at least start that somewhat this year. So, council member, and I'll call you council member, former colleague, council member, a dear friend, someone that I respect a lot, that is doing an incredible job in our city, Fabian Bedney. Thank you, Fabian, for joining us this afternoon.
Wow, thank you so much, Councilmember Suara, for inviting me to be part of this very important series of conversations. And I'm happy to share as much information as you want me to. You know that when you get me talking, it's hard. I've been a past politician, I can talk too much. So please feel free to stop
well,
anytime.
Well, this is one that people are interested in knowing. We cannot say too much because one of the reasons I started the conversation is because I think the more we share with our constituents, the better. The lack of trust in government is because we don't share enough. And I think that we need to trust our residents. And so this is a good one. So we'll dive into it because we have a lot to talk about. And we also want to make sure we give folks the opportunity to ask questions. And let me say to everyone listening, this is the beginning of this conversation. Councilmember Bedner will let you know where we are and things like that. But it's a very important one. I want to get to it. So if you will share with us and just take us through it. What is participatory budgeting? What are we doing in Nashville? How did we get here? Where are we? And I just leave the floor to you. If you can just talk to us, and if you have a presentation for about 20 minutes, we want you to teach us, explain to us, and then at the end, we'll be able to come back with questions.
Well, thank you so much. And I have a PowerPoint set up, and I hope it's not too boring to people, but I think it probably answers many of the questions that they may have. The problem with participatory budgeting is it is counterintuitive. I mean, you probably experienced this already, council member, that
Mhm.
people can't believe when you tell them, yeah, we want to hear from you, or yeah, your opinion matters, or your point of view is something that I mean, interested in. And participatory budgeting is all based on that. And so it takes a while for to sink in on people that, yeah, we really want to empower them to make decisions about their own community. And so that's why it's easier if I go through the PowerPoint, if you don't mind, and then maybe as I'm doing that, if you have any questions, please stop me.
And I would tell those that are on Facebook that if you do have questions, please type it up in the comments. We will take all of it at the end of the presentation. And I also let people know that sometimes I don't see the comments because I'm trying to look at Zoom and Facebook at the same time. So if I do not get to your question or you think that you want me to get it faster, please text me. You can text me at 615-585-2558. So put it in the chat or text 615-585-2558. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to start the PowerPoint, and this is the same PowerPoint that I share with everybody interested. And so it's been getting better over many conversations I've had so far. And so I think I captured all the questions and found a slide to answer the question. But the first thing is, this is for Nashville North Bordeaux region. And it is called participatory budgeting because it is a process that empowers people to, through participation, shape how the budget is going to be handled. We see the year 2021 there is because each one of these budget participatory budgeting processes take a year. So at the end of this process, we start hopefully the next years and so forth. So there are many cities that have been doing this for 8-10 years. And so each year has a new process that starts all over again. My title is Senior Manager of Community Development, and I work in the Office of Economic and Community Development. And I work with Eric Brown, who is tasked with working on many projects in the North Nashville area. And my supervisor is Courtney Pogue, who is our new Director of Economic Development and Community Development. So having said that, I'm going to go to the next slide. And so the first question is, what is it? What is participatory budgeting? And it is basically a way for any member of the Nashville North Bordeaux community to suggest ideas, to develop those ideas into projects, and to vote on those projects at the end. And then the projects that get more votes get funded. So it's a very straightforward thing, but to work, it has to be done by the locals. If I know how to do it, but if I start telling people what to do and define the very idea of participatory budgeting. For people who have been in Nashville for a long time, they may remember that before Bill Porcel was mayor, council members used to get an amount of money to spend in their districts. And sometimes they confuse participatory budgeting with that. But it is not the same, because in that case, it was the council member that was spending the money or deciding how to spend the money, many times in consultation with the residents, but the decision-making was on the council member. In this case, with participatory budgeting, or PV, as I like to call it, the decision is with the residents. So that's a really important thing. The other important thing is that thanks to the mayor and the council that approved it at the last capital spending plan, there are $2 million allocated for that. And because it was funded through the capital spending plan, it can only be used on things that the capital spending plan allows. So these are usually things that are over $50,000, and they have a duration, that they will last for about 10 years or more. So it is infrastructure mostly that can be funded with this. So that goes to the eligibility and many other things that I'm going to go on later. So I have a video here I want to show you, council member, if that's okay, that does a much better job than I do explaining this. And participatory budgeting is a framework, and it's the same framework anywhere it is used. If it's not done within this framework, it is something else. It is not participatory budgeting. However, each city, each place that uses PV needs to go through a process to make it their own. If they don't actually adjust or adapt or refine or modify the process to make it local, then it's not working, because it means that the locals didn't help decide how to use it. But they cannot change what makes the fundamentals. So this video is about the fundamentals, and this is a video from New York City where they use participatory budgeting.
Participatory budgeting gives people real power over real money to make the decisions that affect their lives. First, people brainstorm ideas. They come together in neighborhood assemblies and think of what kinds of projects would they like to see in their neighborhood. Volunteers take people's initial ideas and turn them into real projects. And they bring them back to the public for a vote. The projects with the most votes get funded. They are then implemented over the next few years, and the following year, the process starts again.
So that's it. That's it. The video talks about the fundamentals of the process, and that's what the part that we want to stay very clear, that those things are not changeable, but everything else is. So for example, in Nashville, the mayor and the council approved to use the participatory budgeting on just one region of the city as a pilot program. And that's the area that you see shaded here orangey on the map. And so that means that the residents that live within that area are going to have the responsibility to decide on what makes a project eligible, and other things like how people are going to vote and different things like that, which are going to start working very soon. Actually, in July, we expect them to start working on reviewing and adjusting the rule book, which is the bylaws for the process. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that the steering committee decides that they don't like things that are painted purple. I'm just going to make something up. So they could put it on the rule book that things that are painted purple are not eligible for funding. And so then throughout the whole process, everybody volunteering and working on this exercise will have to separate and deny items that are painted that colors from being able to get to the voting portion. So that's a decision that the locals make of what is an eligible project, and everybody will work based on the rules that they set out. So anyway, the first step for us is to help identify the people that want to participate have to be within that area, because like I said before, it's a local thing. So we are creating this website where people will be able to enter their address, and then the address will verify if they live within the area or not. So any resident of that area that is 14 years old or older, any taxpayer in that area that is 14 years old or older will be able to participate, will be able to submit ideas, will be able to volunteer in the leadership role, and they will be able to vote on these ideas at the end of the process sometime in December. So it is important for us to make sure that this is local, that we don't have people from other parts of the city coming to influence that, because like I said before, it's a very local thing that is done by and for the people that live within this area of Nashville North and Bordeaux.
So Fabian, before we move on that, I wanted to check. So will there be a process to check the residency of people submitting ideas and people that will be voting eventually, so that you don't have those other, because checking that you live there online is a different thing, but in terms of participation, would you require some sort of identification, especially for idea submission?
Well, we don't know yet, because that's one of the decisions that the steering committee needs to make.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to recommend that we use the honor system, and that if people say that they live in that area, trust but verify. But at the end of the day, the steering committee will have to decide if they want to ask for additional proof of residency. Again, this is something, I live in Antioch, so I mean, I wouldn't dare to speak for the people of North Nashville or Bordeaux. I need them to tell us where it makes sense in that community, because they know their neighbors, their community better than I could ever dare to know. So, but that's a good question. Thanks for asking. I show this map because that's a question that comes often. Is like people say, we are only getting $2 million to spend in our region. And my answer usually is no. I mean, there's other items that have been assigned to your area, and the $2 million are on top of that is to fund the pilot program. But there are other projects, and everything you see here comes from the CSP that you guys approved. If you see a blue line or a red dot or an orange circle, all those are investments that were placed by the mayor on the capital spending plan, things like repairing schools or investments in, there is a transit hub that is being built in this area. So there are other investments. The $2 million are on top of it. And so I just want to clarify that, because I get that question often. So like I said before, project eligibility is very important. Oh, sorry, I'm going to go back. Another question I get is, how did you come up with that map? And the answer is we didn't want to make up a map. So we decided to investigate what maps were available. So we took, for the Bordeaux area, we took the Bordeaux Chamber of Commerce map that they have on their website. And we took the Opportunity Zone map for North Nashville. So we took the Opportunity Zone North Nashville map and the Bordeaux Chamber of Commerce map, and we put them together, and that's how we arrived to this map. We didn't make it out of, arbitrary. We tried to use local information to do it.
So that's the experience as a planner coming into play right there.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you really don't want to, yes, thank you. So I already talked a little bit about project eligibility. There are things that are make a project eligible based on federal law, state law, and city law. For example, council members, let's say you live in that area, you don't, but let's say you live there, and you said, it will be really good for the community, for the city to build me a back porch. And so that is, you will never ask that, but I'm just making stuff up. So that will be illegal because the city cannot build stuff on private property, right? It cannot use city money to benefit a person. So there are rules already in place that make projects eligible or not. But the steering committee is going to maybe come up with new rules, things that are important to them as representatives of their community. And they're going to, like I said before, maybe choose not to use money on things that are painted purple, or maybe they decide that they're going to focus on transportation or on education. I mean, I don't know. And that's the beauty of this, because it is up to the local people to refine the eligibility to where it makes sense to them. Timeline. This timeline is slipping a little bit, but I'm showing it as a goal. But we may change it once we start talking with the steering committee. They are the ones that are going to fine tune this timeline again. So the first part of the timeline is what I call the idea collection. The idea collection is where we go into the community and ask people, tell me your ideas, tell me the things that are important to you. And we have seen in other cities that idea collection tends to be surprising, where people propose things that were unexpected. Like in some cities, high school students asked to get new different lockers because the lockers they had were not good for their backpacks, for example. In other cities, they proposed to do some improvements on painting some of the curbs. I mean, there are things that come out of people engaging and participating and being able to share information that they, for some reason, we never did. So during the idea collection period, we are going to collect all these ideas, go to any meeting that will have us, churches, community, neighborhood meetings. Even if somebody invites me to the living room, we're going to visit. And because we want to, instead of us making meetings, we want to use the existing meetings, because I know that there is fatigue. People are tired to go to meetings. And so I just want to piggyback on existing meetings and see if we can pick up as many ideas as possible. But people will also be able to submit ideas in a different way, which I'm going to share in a minute. But we are giving it 4 months because we want to have plenty of time to engage, to participate, to go to fairs, to whatever we can go within that region to be able to collect those ideas. After the idea collection period is over, then we go into the part that is called proposal development. And at that point, a new set of volunteers that is called budget delegates. These are neighborhood leaders that are going to use the rule book that the steering committee created. And they're going to interpret and run the process based on the bylaws set up by the steering committee. So that's another beautiful thing. And this is a standard of PV anywhere, that you separate the steering committee from the budget delegate. You separate the creation of rules and the application of the rules to prevent, obviously, that somebody tries to sneak in an idea that benefits him or her without having any checks and balances. So by having 2 separate group of people, then you create a more transparent, more a better system to screen those ideas. So the budget delegate people, together with the support of the Metro staff, they're going to start screening those hundreds, maybe thousands of ideas that we're going to collect. and they're going to narrow it down to a number of items that we can put on a ballot. We cannot put 1,000 items on a ballot. It will be impossible. So anywhere in the world where they do participatory budgeting, they end up with a manageable number of items on the ballot. Like it goes between 15 items to maybe 35 items. And so we are thinking we're going to propose the steering committee to do 25, but it's again up to the steering committee to decide how many items will be at the ballot at the end. So the budget delegates will go through a 3-stage process to narrow down the maybe 1,000 ideas to get it to 25. And there is a system there, right? You have to look and make sure that the items are buildable, that are eligible. That, for example, it's not an item that requires the city to hire 20 people to do it, because this is only money for the capital spending plan. It doesn't include operating budget money. So if a item costs only $50,000, but it requires that the city hires 50 people, then it's not doable, it's not eligible. So there are all these things that the budget delegates are going to have to go through to be able to narrow it down to a number of items to be put on for a vote. And then hopefully in December, we're going to have the voting day, and it's going to be a voting expo, sort of like a science fair, where people will be able to come and engage with their neighbors and try to have a civic space to talk about all these 25 items that are going to be on the ballot, and then they're going to vote on it. And then whatever they vote will get built with the $2 million that are already set aside for them to decide how to spend. So after they vote, then we start the evaluation and monitoring. And we're going to ask the steering committee to stay involved and to keep an eye on us in the city so they can be witness of the process and be transparent about it. The whole idea of this is to make sure that people trust that participatory budgeting works. And if we don't do this right, then people are not going to trust it. And so it is important that we have all these checks and balances. So this is the timeline, and there is more detail to it, but I'm just trying to narrow it down. The next thing is roles and responsibilities. And I'm just going to go really fast here, but everybody has a role and responsibility. Most important is the residents, North Nashville and Bordeaux residents. They are the ones that submit ideas for possible public projects, and they are the ones that vote to choose projects for funding. So without them, this doesn't work. So they have a very important role. The budget delegates, like I said before, together with the volunteers and the staff, are the ones that have an important role as well. The Metro staff is already set up. We have already had meetings about it, and we have representatives from most departments. As a matter of fact, I was talking to one of the departments, and they asked me, hey, if somebody submit an idea and I can fix it today, do I wait or I fix it? And I said, no, fix it. I mean, if we find something that we missed and the city can take care of it today, then we'll thank the person that submitted the idea and we'll take care of it. So this is because there are things that are already on the budget to do, like we already have a budget for certain things, a part of participatory budgeting. So we are very excited about seeing if we find something that we missed. We at the mayor's office are the ones that administer the process, and we will review proposals for eligibility based on, like I said before, state, city, and federal law. You guys at the Metro Council already did the most important thing, which is approving the $2 million for the budget. We are also going to ask you to do a resolution endorsing the work of the steering committee. And at the end, there is an opportunity that there may happen that something that got voted in for funding requires an additional legislative ordinance or resolution. So at that point, we will come to the council asking for you guys to do that. Here at the bottom is the steering committee. The steering committee is made out of 21 members, and 3 of them will be the executive committee for the steering committee. 14, we try to get them appointed by council members. 5 of them are local district council members and 2 are at large, and they have an important role to play. And let me go through that in the next slide. These are all the different ways in which the local residents of that region can participate. Obviously, the steering committee is important because they are the ones that review and vote and adopt a set of rules for the process. But the budget delegates have a very important role as well because they help go over the ideas submitted to make sure that they can come to the ballot. And then we also have other opportunities, some running the meetings, for example, we are going to need help with that. And then there is logistics, right? Setting up meetings and everything. So the city could actually come in and start doing all these things. But if we do that, we will be undermining the idea that this is a local thing that is being run locally by the residents. So is asking or giving people an opportunity to lead this. It's not because we don't want to do the work. I mean, we could do the work. It's just that it wouldn't be the right way to go about it if we start doing the work for them, because then it will deny the fact that this is something that they are doing themselves, by themselves, for themselves. And so that's how PV works anywhere in the world. So if anybody wants to sign up to be either a budget delegate or a committee facilitator or a volunteer, they can scan this QR sign here and go to a form that we have already online where people can sign up. And I'm going to have this at the end of the presentation. So if anybody wants to scan it later, they can do that as well. But like I said, this is for and by the people of the Nashville North, Bordeaux region, and they are the ones that are going to help this be successful. As I said before, there's a role for you guys at the council to endorse the rule book, and many of you have already helped set up the steering committee by recommending people to lead the process. And this is the part I am more excited about. The idea collection. This is going to take hopefully 4 months, and we're going to. I was part of the transportation plan, and we did a lot of collecting ideas in the community, and it was very exciting to see people sharing with us what vision they have. We want to see that happen again. We want to see the Nashville North Bordeaux residents telling us every idea, even crazy ideas, are good. We don't want to see ideas. There's no bad ideas. The budget delegates will later decide if they are eligible or not, but we're going to be very aggressive in doing that. So the budget delegates, like I said before, they're going to be the ones taking the ideas and making them into proposals, and they're going to look kind of like this. They will have a description and a budget. Now, the budget delegates cannot do the budget thing, so that's where the Metro staff will come in. And so the budget delegates will say, will tell, this bench looks like it's eligible, that it could work. So they're going to ask if it's a bench on the bench on the street. They may ask, we and the mayor's office will help them ask the Parks Department or the Public Works or WIGO, depending on who it is. Please give us a scope of work for this item and a budget. Contrary to what people think, because of ADA and other rules, a bench is not just a bench. You have to also deal with the sidewalk and approach to the sidewalk and to the bench and so forth. So a bench is, people say a bench is like $5,000. Why it costs so much? Well, you have to build ramps. You have to do many things to level the ground. So different locations will cost a different amount of money. So we are going to ask the departments to do that. That way, when the voters see these items, they can decide if that's something where they want to put their money, their vote. Voting, I already talked about it. Anybody 14 years old and up that resides within the community will be able to vote and help decide how to spend the money. The how is going to be up to the steering committee to help us decide. We may do it only online, or we may have paper ballots. We may have different ways to do this. And I'm looking forward to engage with the steering committee to see how they want to do it. We are proposing to use Hub Nashville. Hub Nashville is a system that we have in place. I hope everybody is using it. It's a really good tool to ask for help from the city, to report items. We're going to use it also to register people to vote. And then people, once they're registered, they'll be able to use it to submit ideas, the process, but also to vote. At the end, this is going to be the voter registration device that we're going to use, and this is how we're going to do it. Now, there is a digital divide. Not everybody has internet, not everybody has a computer, not everybody knows how to use these tools. So we are going to be using volunteers with laptops to be at the different meetings and help people that want to do it as well. But as I said before, we may also do a way for people to vote online, and using paper ballots. So we'll decide that as we go through the meetings in the coming month. We are also going to have a website. The website is there for transparency and to keep people informed. It's going to have an interactive map. It's going to have all the information about the process. And it will be able to show people how the different projects are available for them to vote. But after the vote and after the residents decide which ones will get funded, we are also going to use it to track the construction, so people can go and say, this bench that got so many votes, what's happening? Why, when will it get built? And they'll be able to see on the website information about it. So we really want to use the website as a transparency tool. As I said before, some of the winning items may require legislation. I'll give you an example, council member, to do a transfer of property, like if the community decides they want to buy land for a poker park, then that requires council legislation. So we may need to come to the council and say, the people want to spend the money this way. Can you please pass this legislation to allow the item to happen? But I expect most items won't require legislation because it has already been approved, like I said, at the last CSP. So this is one of my last slides. And I like to show this because when you look at the picture on the right, that's what people think about infrastructure, right? Like you think about infrastructure, you think about multi-million-dollar things, very expensive, very fancy, like heavily, flashy. But participatory budgeting is more about what you see on the left. It's about the small items that are maybe $50,000 and up, that people are like, I'm tired of going across the street and there's no sidewalk, or I wish there was a way for me to stop so I can go across, or I want to have a bike lane here, or I want to have a shelter, or it could be a community garden, or it could be many other things. And so that's the scale of items that I expect to start seeing through this process. So this is my last slide. To get involved, people can email us at pb@nashville.gov, or they can scan this code with your phone, and that will take you to the form that you can use to register. To be a budget delegate, to be on the steering committee, you have to be a local resident. But to be a volunteer, to help our Nashville North, Bordeaux neighbors, you don't have to live in the area. You can volunteer if you live anywhere in the city and you are excited about the process. So you can volunteer by using that form as well. Thank you, council member. I'm ready to answer questions if you have any.
Wow, thank you so much. This is a lot. I'll tell you, everyone, that Councilmember Bednar has done an incredible job because this is starting this process from scratch. And I'm so excited about the details that's gone even into just the planning. One thing that you said that I think it's important to stress to everyone is the fact that this project has to be community-led, community-driven, community-chosen, community has to decide what they want to do. And I think it's very important. I think it's also important when you mention that what used to happen with council members before having some money to spend. I also remember during the budget process from last year when we're going around and asking people for their thoughts and asking questions on the budget and telling them what's going on in the budget, but we're telling them what's already happened. We're telling them this is what we're going to spend money on and asking them questions, right? Or they're asking us questions. This is so fresh because it's from scratch. It has nothing to do with council or the mayor's office. It's from the people, and your office and everybody's just helping them to make sure that it happens. So I think it's very important. Someone had asked and I think that the question is answered, but the person was asking, are there pre-selected projects that is given to the community to choose from? So you don't have a project and you said, this is what we wanted to choose from. That is correct, right? You don't do that.
No, no, no. As a matter of fact, we don't want to do that. If we start trying to sneak in projects that are important to the mayor's office, it will be contrary to the participatory process. So
That
no,
is true.
it is 100% what they want. That and the way, I mean, the proof of that is that we are not going to be like the budget delegates are going to be screening those ideas, and the steering committee is going to make the rules. I mean, we're going to there to support, but they're going to be having these meetings where they're going to be going through all these ideas, and they are on their own going to decide which ones become part of the ballot.
Mm. So there's another question that came in. There is a comment. Someone was thanking you. Fortunate to have elders like you, always graceful and always professional. So glad that you're aiding this effort. But the question still came and says, at any chance schools in North Nashville can be a hub also? This would be great for our middle school and high school students to get involved in the community. I believe you said 14 years and up is the
Yeah,
age. Is that correct?
yeah, we really knew because we saw some of the reports that were done about Nashville North and Bordeaux that is important to give young people an opportunity to engage. And so that's why we lowered the age to 14, because we wanted to be inclusive of them, but also because usually young people don't have an opportunity to tell us what matters to them in how they use the city. And in other cities where they lower the age, they got a richness of ideas that, I'm old, I'm like 61. I don't know what's important to a 14, 15-year-old. So yeah, we want them to participate. We want them to be engaged, and we want them to do whatever, opportunity they think. And if anybody listening wants to connect me with their school within the region, they can email me at pv@nashville.gov, and we can work an opportunity for them to do a school projects or whatever they want to do to support and move the process along.
All right. I'm going to put John Early in there. John Early is my school in North Nashville. So I'll be connecting you with the folks at John Early.
Thank
And
you.
Falcon. So you have another question here, and it says, this is a great idea and a way to build community. Is there going to be any way for those that live in other parts of Nashville to be able to follow the program, even they're not volunteers or submitting ideas or voting, but they just want to see how the process is going and how it's working? Would this be something that anybody will be able to see on the website or any other way for them to stay engaged?
Yeah. This is going to be all public information. We are not going to hide anything, so to speak, but we also want to have Nashville residents to be part of the process. The ideas and the selection of the ideas will be up to the local residents, but other people that want to participate, volunteer, or witness the process, they're welcome to be part of it, because my hope is that we are successful. I think we're going to be successful, and that
Yes.
we can repeat it, including other parts of the city. And now, I meant to say this in the beginning, council member. In different cities in this country, they use PV in different ways. Like I think in Chicago, they only use it for schools, for example. I just read that in a city, they're using it to administer the Reinvestment Act money, the money from from COVID. In New York, they use it for both infrastructure and operating budget. In Vallejo, California, They can use it to support nonprofits by using the money for operating as well. So it is sort of like a surgical tool. Is you follow the same structure, but you can apply it in different way with different monies from the city budget. So we are using it now as a pilot program just on this part of the city, but hopefully if it's successful and the people of Nashville think that this is a good idea to expand, it could be expanded to other parts of the city.
Thank you. And as you know, we had this conversation. I was working on an operating budget type of participatory budgeting with the finance office to be able to see if we can do something like that. And when I heard the mayor's announcement, I actually thought it was what I was discussing, and then later found it was what you were discussing. And we realized that it was just great minds. We all have the same idea, even though we have different focus on it. And what I love about this is that, and so I dropped that knowing that, you know, this is all going and it's well and it's well thought out, and it's a way to we do a pilot. I like the idea of a pilot because it's a smaller area, it's a smaller people that you're dealing with, and hopefully we'll be successful, and then we can put it to other part of the city. So for those of you that are listening, I want you to if you have comments, question, please don't forget to keep texting them or typing them. If I don't read your comments, text me at 615-585-2558. I see, can you talk a little bit about exactly what type of volunteer opportunities there will be? Do you know at this point? I know that it's still early in the stage, but can you speak to that?
Yeah. So there, I'm going to bring up the PowerPoint again, if you don't mind. I have a slide that
Yes.
talks about the different volunteer opportunities. Here it is. So people can, the two on the left are leadership roles, right? The very one on the left, it's already set up, and we already have the members to start with the meetings. But on the budget delegates, we are hoping to get about 50 people, 50 people from Bordeaux and North Nashville. We have two already. There is no hurry to get these members yet because they won't start working till October. But it will be good to start signing up. So if you're interested, you're listening, you're interested, use that link that I shared before, or email me at pv@nashville.gov. But then committee facilitators, I mean, they are wonderful people, because like, who hasn't been on a meeting where somebody like me will talk and talk and talk, and the committee facilitator needs to be there to say, Fabian, you already said enough, let other people talk. So they don't vote, they don't decide how to spend the money. They are there to run the meetings efficiently and to keep records of it. So we're going to have many meetings through this process. And it'll be great to have people that want to volunteer. They don't have to be from the community because they won't influence the voting or the spending. And then we have opportunities for logistics, like we are going to have to set up meetings. We're going to have to capture information from people that don't have access to computers, data entry. There are many opportunities. And this is somebody, hey, I want to volunteer for a day or two. I'm curious about PV and I want to learn more about it. This is it. So you can volunteer for logistics and then help the process along. So there are many different opportunities to do it. We want to see most of the volunteers being from the Nashville North Bordeaux area, but outside the area, Nashvillians are welcome to participate.
Thank you. So if I may look at it, I'll say the steering committee and the budget delegates primarily should be people from North Nashville, whereas the logistics and the facilitators, I'm trying to go from memory, could be people from other part of the city. So for the person that asked, and again, for anyone who is interested and who wants to know more, you can always email pb@nashville.gov. So if you would talk more about your steering committee, I know that is already set and that you have that process. Can you just talk to us a little bit about the steering committee? Because that is a committee that has a lot of work to do and will have to make a lot of decisions. And so Are they meeting already? Where are you in that process with the steering committee?
Well, I am very thankful to everybody that agreed to be part of it, but I'm also thankful to the council members that made recommendations for people to be part of that steering committee. We wanted to make sure that the people that were part of this committee were truly representative leaders in the community that understood the needs and wants and could help shape this rule book. So we asked for help to the council members to recommend people, and each of the 5 council district members recommended 2 people, and then we asked 2 at-large council members to recommend 2 people as well. Unfortunately, in some cases, we got recommendations from people that end up not being from the community. So we had to thank them and tell them that, unfortunately, unless they are residents within the community, they cannot participate in leadership roles. So this is only for people that live in the area, either own, rent, are in college. They have to be residents to participate. So with that, we had 14 members, and then we also asked our staff members, Kathy Bax, who is our director of neighborhoods, to recommend some other local leadership lives in that part of the city, so she knew them. And then Eric Brown, who's my partner in crime, he also recommended some people. He lives there in North Nashville. So I feel very optimistic about this group of volunteers. I met with each one of them online and explained the process. And I didn't want people to sign up and then be surprised by the level of commitment. But this takes a big commitment on the front end. They need to get trained by our legal and finance department on that, legal framework that I was telling you about, like federal, state, and city law. And then they have to have conversation about the rule book. And in some cities, those conversations can last up to 2 or 3 months. And we are optimistically hoping that it will be done in 1 month. But if it takes longer, then the starting time for the process will take a little bit longer and voting will happen later. And the reason we waited till now to start, I forgot to mention that too, is we knew that this requires a lot of engagement, and we didn't want to do engagement with the risk of COVID around. So we timed it to start when we thought that enough of us were vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. If you're watching, you're not vaccinated, shame on you. But vaccination has allowed us to be able to start with engagement, and so we are hoping to start the first day of August with the idea collection.
Wow. This is exciting. For those of you that are just joining, we've been talking about participatory budgeting and the idea where residents actually decide where they want their money to be spent. That's what it is. And people talk about it's our budget, we want to have a say in it. Well, this is it. This is it. Where residents get to be able to say, these are the projects that we would like funded, and then other residents get to vote and say, this is the one that we pick. I think it's very exciting. And also for those of you that are watching, the focus is on North Nashville for this 2 million as a pilot, because we've never really done participatory budgeting in Nashville before. This is our first time. And so we want to try North Nashville, and I'm sure it will be successful. I'm looking at all the work that is gone into this, just even getting it started. I think it's incredible, and I'm sure that we'll be able to have it in other parts of the city. And so for those of you that are listening again, if you have any question, type it in the comment, or you can text me. I'm checking my phone as I'm talking to make sure that I'm not missing anything. You can text it to 615-585-2558. Also, if you want to get involved, you have a question, you live in North Nashville, or you just want to volunteer, you can email pb@nashville.gov. So thank you so much, Councilmember Bednet. So the question that I have for you is this. In your presentation, I remember that you said there's going to be an expo. Well, people will come and we will have all these ideas displayed and people can see it before they vote for the idea that they want. So my question is, will people only see those projects or learn about them on the day of the expo? Or will there be opportunity on the website or somewhere where they can actually read about it? Will people have the opportunity to present their ideas in their community or lobby for votes, possibly, if there's anything like that, before the date of the expo? Or would it just be the expo only?
No, that's a great idea, a great question. Thank you, council member. And obviously, it will depend on the steering committee. But what I'm working towards is to have an interactive map on the website that, and I can picture somebody that is very passionate about that bench that I keep talking about, sharing that bench item on Facebook through their social media and telling people, hey, vote for my bench. I'm tired. My grandma is tired of waiting, standing up next to the bus stop. Help her. So the idea of making this interactive map that can be used to learn about the items that are going to be selected to be put for vote as the budget delegates are done with them. Yeah, we're going to rely on that to keep people informed. So no, we don't expect people to go to the voting expo and learn about it. We will want them to know about it before.
Okay. That is interesting. I mean, that is amazing. I'm just so excited about all the opportunities. I'm telling you, I'm passionate about this, and to actually see something start coming together, start developing, it's very exciting for me. Again, if you have any questions, I'm looking through the comments. I don't see anyone. I see one comment, not a question, that says that we now have 2 students on the school board, and that these two students collaborate with the board. That it would be a good idea for these students to also collaborate between the city and the board, and maybe the student can help or be involved in some way, especially when we're getting other schools involved in the participatory budgeting. What I love about participatory budgeting is that, other than eligibility for the project, to make sure that they what I'm looking for, they meet the requirements, they're not illegal, they're not benefiting somebody, that it's open for everyone. It's basically open. And the voting is 14 years and over, right? But you cannot say don't be a part of this. And I love that anyone and everyone can be a part. But do you see a way to be able to involve these new students that are on the board in this
Yeah,
process?
yes, actually, but it has to be somebody that reside within the community. So we had asked,
In the area.
the mayor has a youth advisory council, and we asked their leader to see if any of them is interested in being part of the steering committee, and it resides within the community. Because you're right, I mean, the question is very good, that it will be important to have a voice for the younger people on the steering committee as well. So we are working to see if we can, one of the spots is set aside for the younger person. And so we are hoping that we'll be able to identify somebody.
All right. Thank you. I'm trying to see if I have any other question, or if I have anyone who is
Can I do a shout out to Eric Howell?
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Eric doesn't work in the mayor's office. He actually doesn't live in Nashville anymore, but he has been somebody that was very passionate. He was a constituent of mine. And when we started talking about PV, he took the lead on doing this. So I don't know if Eric is listening now, but I want to thank him for all his work in sharing information about PV for many years.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I believe that Eric had reached out to me too. And I think there was someone else. Oh, what did I do with his name? I'm getting older, you know that. That I cannot remember. Oh my God, why should I forget? It is on my Facebook page. What did I do with your name? I am so sorry. Once I remember, I'm blanking out. Fabian, we're getting older and we got so many things in our mind.
While you look, let me just that I think the reason why I always thought that this was something Nashville would like is because while serving in the council, I saw how much people
Blake.
wanted to get involved, how sometimes they were frustrated about not being able to have a say on what happened in their community. And so I thought that PB will be an opportunity, a tool to empower people to fix some local things that they drives them crazy, right? But
Yes.
it also is a way to engage, to do civic engagement, because people will have to talk to their
Yes.
neighbors about, and getting them to vote on their idea. So it creates an opportunity for people to get to know their neighbors and the people that they share the community with. So, and you really can get your neighbors to vote for you if you treat them like some of the comments you see on Facebook, right? So you have to be civil to. Did you find that?
Yes, thank you. And I do remember now. I found it's Blake Stockard. So Eric and had reached out to me, but Blake also reached out to me, and because you know that I ran on participatory budgeting, community-based budgeting, and I've always said that you and I know that a good budget is one that deals with the issues that are important to the people. And if you don't know the issues that are important to the people, your budget may not be sound. It has to be a moral document that goes with what the people want and helps the people. And so what participatory budget actually does is allow us to be able to let the resident tell us these are the things that we want, these are the things that are crucial to us, and not just the council members only. And I know my colleagues talks to their constituents, but imagine the constituent coming up and saying, let's do this. So you and I know the importance of participatory budgeting. So I'm really grateful to you for sticking with it, for making sure that it came to fruition. Grateful to anyone that has been part of the conversation, Eric, Blake, everybody else that have been trying to push for this. I think it's incredible. And so for everyone that is listening, this is a great opportunity for us. Again, people talk about this is our budget. We want to be a part of it. We want to join in. We want to have a say. Yes, we may not be at the point wherein you're able to tell us what to do with $2 billion, but it's a start. You can tell us what to do with 2 million. And imagine if we do 2 million well, maybe we become 4 million. Maybe we'll go to other part of the city. Maybe you never know where this is going, but this is truly an exciting opportunity. And I want to thank former council member Fabian for his incredible work on this. Now, the email is a good place to stay in touch with you. I will make sure once the site is ready that we put it on social media and we share with all of you to be able to let you know when you can start going to see things. Look for information from the mayor's office, from Councilmember Bedney, as this progresses, and how to continue to know what's going on. I'm going to do one last look to see if I see anything. I don't see anything. I'm looking at my text. I do not see anything. So we only have 2 minutes. In the 2 minutes that is left, I wanted to thank everyone that have been a part of this budget conversations. This is my last budget conversation for the fiscal year 2022 budget. I want to thank everyone from Councilmember Bedney, to Mendes, to Quante, Delicia, Mrs. Phyllis Hildreth, Deputy Chief Taylor. We've had a lot of guests, a lot of people that have been part of the conversation. I'm Jason Freeman, Assessor Will Oit. I'm going from memory, trying the school board, Freda Player Peters, who am I forgetting? Amanda Kale, Rachel Elroyd. Look at it, that all the panels that we've had a lot of good conversations. I wanted to thank all of you for being a part of it. I'm thinking about starting another one on affordable housing because I think that's an issue that we need to start looking at and talking about again. But my budget conversations will not be until next year when we start the next budget process, or unless there's a need to do one. But this has been great. Please stay in touch. This video is going to stay on Facebook, but it will also be on Metro YouTube channel from next week. You will also, I'm also going to summarize everything that Councilmember Medney said and put it on my blog and my newsletter. So you need to stay informed. You need to make sure that you're part of the conversation. Thanks to everyone that have tuned in. Thank you, Councilmember Bedney. You're an incredible. I know that you're one of the first people that encouraged me to run when I was still thinking about running. And so for anyone that says I'm on council and whatever it is that you think I'm doing, thank Councilmember Bedney for encouraging me and say, go ahead, you do it, you can do this. So I thank you for everything that you continue to do for our city. And everyone, thank you for joining us. You have any last word before we sign off?
Just want to thank Mayor Cooper for believing in this process and
Oh,
supporting.
of course.
So
Definitely, we wouldn't have the money without the mayor putting it there, of course.
but it's really amazing to have a mayor that wants to do this type of thing. So I'm very proud and thankful to the mayor for supporting it and for putting it on the budget.
Well, thank you, Mayor Cooper. I did say that in my post, so but
You did,
well,
you
thank
did.
you, Mayor Cooper. Thank you for for making it happen. And everyone, don't forget the John Lewis Way celebration and dedication that will be happening July 16 and 17. If you're interested in attending, the events are free. We hope you join us for the march early in the morning. We have some unveiling on Friday. But if you want to be at the event at the Ryman, you will need a ticket, and the tickets are going very fast. So we hope you join us then. And so thank you everyone for joining us again your Saturday afternoon. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.